All righty, here we are.
Yes, but
there
you
it
still
is,
can't
folks.
see
You
us.
can see it. You can't see us.
That's our new logo.
But there's our logo for the new rebrand. Obviously,
welcome
it's not
to the
episode,
Death Rattle podcast.
Obviously, it's episode 1 of the Death Rattle podcast, not episode 55 of the Screaming Room. But there we are. So that's it. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you at 7 p.m. or 4 p.m., depending on what side of the country you are on and whatever time it is in your region. But it is Wednesday night, and we're here.
Yeah.
We're here to talk. We're going through the Halloween hangover right now with the lack of anything happening. So we're going to just be talking to you guys about stuff. And seeing how everything went.
Super dead zone right now. Like there's
no
real interesting horror news, no movies. Like we have one this week. We have Heretic, which I've heard a lot of great things about, and that comes out on Thursday because that's A24. Like probably their last one they're counting on to make some noise this year.
And I think it will, or at least I hope it will. I mean, I'm pretty excited about it, but yeah, so it's a slow news week, guys. So we're not going to be talking about a lot of news. We're just going to kind of be just talking about stuff for the next hour and see what's going on, see how everybody's season went, what everybody's looking forward to. Good to see everybody in the chat. El Rukin, what's going on? Good to see you. Dominic, good to see you.
Who's putting out Nosferatu?
I know it's Robert Eggers. I don't know.
But this isn't A24, is it? That's what I was just thinking, because Robert Eggers' last 2 movies have been A24.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find.
Nosferatu. Let me open up my IMDb here. Who is the? It is Focus Features.
Well, so that's who's making it. Who's the distribution through?
That's it. Distributor and production companies Focus. That's. Well, okay. Never mind. There's 24 other company credits. Universal is.
So it is Universal. Okay.
Yeah. Universal is the international distributor. Yeah, and then Focus Features is the U.S. distributor.
Because I was thinking Universal, but I'm like, but this isn't technically a Dracula movie, so it's not like they have. But maybe they do have rights to Nosferatu.
That would make sense.
Like the original, who owns the original Nosferatu?
I have no idea. I wish I could tell you. What's up, Terry? Good to see you. It is forever Halloween. That's how I like to think about it. The season never ends, especially around here. Tyler says, "Hey, I do animation, branding stuff. You need some help with your podcast? Love to help out. Maybe. we are looking. I gotta make a new intro video. So I got to get off my butt and do that. But we wanted to start the podcast off with the logo reveal, because if you weren't here last week, we used to be called The Screaming Room, but there's another podcast out there that it's more established than we are that have the name. So we're not going to try to get confused with that. But it's good to see everybody. What's up, Jordan? Diddy, what's going on? Night.
You might want to change that name, Diddy.
Yeah. That Diddy's not a good name to have right now, but that's okay. We know you're not the Diddy. What's going on, Nightingale? You ready for Smile 2? We're gonna actually talk about Smile 2 a little bit. We were talking about it before we went live, so we're gonna see it. What's going on, KJ? Doing a great job, fellas. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. So oh man, yeah.
How's your week been?
My week has been busy. It's and I feel like I'm always saying that, but like there's always just little stuff to do. And I have my other channel that I'm working on, the Hellgate, that I'm still working on. We have a couple of shots that we still have to get that we're getting tomorrow. Some shots
for the movie.
Yeah, for the movie that that are going to fix some scenes. So we sent out an audience test screening that, you're aware of. And we got feedback from that, and some of the feedback we're going to go out and shoot some stuff tomorrow to sort of clean up some scenes.
What locations?
The graveyard.
Okay, cool.
It's going to be at the graveyard. So we're going to be doing that. And then after that, I'm going to be working on a second cut of of the movie and send that back out for other feedback. And then once we get that back, then it's off to special effects, which we have a couple of green screen things that we have to plug in. And then it's sound design, mixing, mastering, scoring, coloring. And then I'm hoping by January, we have a completed film that we can then start shopping around. So the Hellgate should be released summer or fall of next year, because once you get distribution, then you have to come up with a marketing plan. You have to come up with, a release date and stuff like that. We have to figure out, everything we're doing. So
sometimes you got to kind of be at the mercy of what their plan is and their slate of movies too. Like depending on who's distributing it, they might be like, well, we have these movies coming out here. We don't think it'll fit there, so that's why, it could be fall or later in the year. You just,
Right. Plus you have to go through quality control, stuff like that, errors and omissions. You have to go through all that stuff. And
people have no idea like how much goes into making a movie. Like it's just wild.
There is so much.
So what happened to you? You disappeared.
Oh my God. It says my browser's lost connection to my camera. Give it like 30 seconds. Sorry about that.
Okay. We can still hear you though.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it. And like next year when I hit 100,000 subscribers, it's like my goal, like this time next year is to hit 100,000. And I was thinking about it. I want to try to make a short, like a 10-minute or less horror movie. And
hell yeah, man.
I'm not going to direct it, but I want to, create one, like find someone, to write it, someone to direct it, like people that, you know what I mean? Like
you're looking at him.
Play the puppet master. So, well, no, I definitely work with you on it. Like I was telling you before, I had that dream. And I think so,
yeah, man. Let's do
work
that
together on coming up with a script or whatever.
Hell yeah.
So, because I think that my idea would work really well as a short.
I think it would. So definitely do that. What's going on, Vorpal? Good to see you. DIY says just finished Teacup season 1, excellent, and From is relentlessly grim. So good stuff on the series. Yeah, were talking
of series.
All right,
Speaking of series, I'm like halfway through Teacup, and I'll probably finish it tonight. It is very good. It's very sci-fi. It's like less in the horror and more in the sci-fi. Like if you had to pick one of the genres, but it has some super horrifying moments. Like it goes pretty hard for a network show. Like there's one scene in particular, and I think it's the first or second episode, that I was just like, I can't believe that they just did that on network TV. Like that is savage.
Nice.
But the show, in my opinion, that you have to watch right now is Grotesquerie. It's on FX, or I guess now the only way to watch it is on Hulu because, well, I don't know if maybe FX has their own streaming service. I don't know. But like, I know it's available in its entirety. It's a 10 episode series over on Hulu, but it goes hard. It's my favorite series I think I've seen since Hannibal. And it feels like Hannibal. Like it has the same levels of like depravity and like gross stuff and really twisted stuff that you just don't generally see on series unless it's on HBO or something. And I'm not counting like some of the HBO series. I'm talking about as far as network and cable. It's my favorite since Hannibal, because it's a different story when you're talking about Showtime and HBO. Like they're more like movie level. They get to really go hard and the budgets and all that those do. It's a different category. But as far as like for a regular kind of series, man, it is good. Very good. It's so twisted, but you got to stick with it because the first like 2 or 3 episodes, it's a little bit slow and it feels more about the dread and weirdness, but it's like a procedural kind of crime series is what it feels like. And then it just goes off the rails. And by the end, you're like, holy fuck, dude, this was a completely different thing than I thought it was when I started. Like it takes you on a crazy journey.
Nice.
It's
very
good show.
I got to start watching more TV now since the movies are starting to run dry. I'm finishing I'm finishing the Penguin, and then after I finish that, then I'll start Grotesquerie and Teacup and all that stuff, and get my fix that way.
I need to see Penguin.
Oh, dude, Penguin's so good.
I've had a lot of people bugging me about watching series, so I'm like trying to dip my toe into it. So like I watched Edge of Sleep for my last video, and then the one that I'm doing that'll come out like this weekend will have me talking about Grotesquerie and Teacup. So but I need another series, so people got to hit me up and let me know what's the next series I should be covering.
Well, so we actually had a few people recommend us watching some horror anime and talking about that. So we should also
that would be cool.
And I think the first movie we should watch, because I think it's a good movie and a few anime that I've seen, is Wicked City. So I think we should.
Where is it available?
I think it's
got to be something that's easily available.
Yeah, it's either on Tubi or Amazon or both.
Hold on, let me look.
Look,
it's
you look that
Wicked
up.
City.
Wicked City. Look it up. I'm going to read some chats. Let me see here. Who's
I'm going to go grab my Rockstar. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, let's see who's in here. Jordan says he's starting watching Teacup tonight. Awesome. Diddy, we'll get to your question for Kanye when he gets back. DIY says it's not afraid to kill its darling, so that's good. Vorpal wants a cosmic supernatural space horror movie with limited body horror. Why limited? You don't like body horror, Vorpal? But cosmic supernatural space is always awesome. Sci-fi horror is one of my favorites. I love that stuff. Let's see here. John, what's up? Good to see you. Mr. Wonderful, good to see you. Kraft, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate you. $3 super sticker. Thank you. Let me see here. Oh, you're back. Okay. We had a question. Did he want to know what happened to your wrist?
Tendonitis. Too many videos, man.
Ah, damn.
Yeah.
I got tendonitis.
People just don't realize how much it takes to like pump out. Have you ever pumping out an average or 2 of my list videos a week for over a month now? Like it's literally like 70 to 80 hours.
I got tendonitis playing Warcraft once.
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. Like nothing I did. It's been so hard to get rid of. Like, cause that's the problem with tendonitis. The only way really to get rid of it is rest it. And it's like, okay, so I'm just not going to make any videos for the next month.
Right. Yeah. It
like sucks.
It's terrible.
So I'm just trying to ice it and wear this and, trying to at least get it to calm down. Cause sometimes like it's so painful. Cause I also have carpal tunnel in this hand. I've had surgeries and stuff on it. And so it gets to where this is like just locked up on me. And so it's pretty hard to do anything when my right hand is in a fucking claw.
James says it's a 4-part OVA, so only 2 hours long in total, but Corpse Party is a great horror anime. Says it's full of disemboweling, eye gouging, and suicide. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I've heard people talk about that one.
Yeah. But
Wicked City. I got it on my watch list. It's on Tubi.
Yeah. So let's watch Wicked City and we'll talk about that.
Is it subtitles, dude?
Maybe.
Damn it.
You can probably change the language to a English dub. You don't like subtitles?
I can't see very good, dude.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
And then I also have the main thing is I have really bad dyslexia. So reading is always difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, it's why I don't read the comments.
Oh, that's true.
That's why I'm always relying on you to read them.
Jordan says your vids have quickly become my favorite on YouTube, enough to hook me without spoiling it.
What, you mean the ones with DJ in them?
No. No, nobody.
Speaking of which, thanks for starting off the chat today, guys, talking shit about DJ. Like one of the first comments was like, we only watch these for Kanan. Like, fuck DJ.
It's okay. People don't like when the truth is spoken about movies that they like, so it's okay. I'm fine with it.
The thing is, man, like life is way more fun when you have differing opinions. I'm not going to get into political stuff, but it's kind of the issue with the entire country about everything. That's why I'm not saying it's about politics, but like literally you cannot pick a single topic that people won't like get flared up about. Like, it's okay to have a conversation and disagree with someone. Like,
Well, that's what
everybody
makes it so fun.
doesn't need to have, but it's like there's a level of where you're talking and then there's people go into anger and violence and all that. And that's the problem.
Yeah, you don't got to do
like,
that. It's okay. It's not that serious. It's not that
you're
deep.
not going to change people's minds either.
We're all just
like a lot of things, like an opinion you have, you're not going to change, and you don't need to. Like, what do you gain out of like forcing someone to change their opinion?
Oh, nobody does.
Yeah,
you gain nothing.
Anything.
But if everybody agreed on everything, then it wouldn't, like, there wouldn't be a point to having conversations. Like, we're all just a bunch of nerds arguing about our favorite stuff. And like, I mean, you can imagine how many arguments I've been in with people about Batman and Superman, and like, it's fun, So like,
I think that's the big thing, is sometimes it's important to take a step back and think about, like, in the light of eternity, at the end of the day, does anything we're discussing really matter?
No.
It's entertainment.
Right.
And it's also how you learn. Like, if everybody just agreed with me, how would I learn anything?
Exactly.
But by having differing opinions and discussing and working, like, every time we get into these, I generally come away with a different perspective. I may still disagree with you. Like 9 times out of 10, I probably do still disagree with you, but I do have at least a different perspective on it now, which is knowledge.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same thing. I also learn, and that's the best way. Argument's the best way to learn, I think.
So speaking of disagreements, you saw Smile 2.
I did. I finally watched it. I was a little bit late to watching this one. I finally got around to it, watched Smile 2. And overall, I enjoyed it. I think it's a good movie overall. I just think it's a derivative of It Follows, which is what I was saying earlier. And
no,
I just
that was before we were on air.
Sorry. Yeah, that's before we were on
air.
We
had a whole discussion that you guys didn't hear.
I think it's
It Follows, but
I think it's a derivative of It Follows. And when it comes to derivative movies and stuff like that, which, yes, we can what is it? We can reductum ad infinitum. I think
anything,
is the
exactly,
because we can do that, but that's not what I'm trying. That's not what I'm trying to do.
But that's where I push back, right? Because you could probably find a movie. There's nothing off the top of my head, but you could probably find a movie that you could say the same thing about It Follows. Because there's always going to be a movie before it that kind of spawned the ideas. Or sometimes it's a amalgamation of a couple movies. Excuse me. But either way, you're still taking from other sources. Like, that's how art is made. I just think I feel like Smile does enough different things.
Yeah, I just disagree. I don't think it does do enough.
First of all, the look of them, like, they look completely different. Especially Smile 2.
Yeah.
Like, the first Smile was much more muted tones and it felt a little bit more like It Follows, I think. But like Smile 2, that's one of the things I'm a big fan of about it, is how bright and vibrant and fast paced. Like, everything is much more violent in this one and much more chaotic. Like, the whole movie feels like a bit of chaos. Whereas like the first one felt a little more like doom, dread, like, and that I felt like, even though at its core, Smile 2 is dealing with a lot of the same things, I feel like it looks and feels quite a bit different than the first one. Especially if you watch them back to back, it's even more apparent, like, the differences of them.
Sorry, I can't type.
But for me, Naomi Scott,
right,
is what makes Smile 2, like,
she was definitely the highlight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll be in my top 10 at the end of the year. Like, it might be, but either way, I personally liked it more. It impacted me harder than the first one. And a lot of that's Naomi Scott's performance. Like,
her
she
performance
genuinely
was
felt like people I know that deal with mental, like, severe. We're not talking bipolar and, mild stuff. We're talking anybody that deals with severe psychosis and delusions and actually sees things and believes, like, that look in her eye especially a couple of the scenes in it, like that, the scene you mentioned when we were off air, the banquet scene, like that.
Yeah.
I was just blown away.
Yeah.
Like the way
Excellent
she
acting.
does that whole, because she goes from like 0 to 100 in this short space of time, but it doesn't feel performative. Like it feels earned. Like the way she, you know what I mean? Like the way she loses it in that scene. It's not like I'm just going to be, like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it feels real. It feels like the things that happen, even though it's fast, it feels like it makes sense that she would get worked up and react the way she does.
She's her facial expressions are very emotive. You can tell the emotion that she's feeling by her face. Yeah, she's a fantastic actor, and
like there's no doubt in my mind that, and there's a lot of arguments back and forth, people that believe in what's it called when you be like, when you live in a role, like you become that character.
Method acting.
There's a lot of arguments against method acting. A lot of actors that push back and are like, you don't need to, like, it's ridiculous to do that, like whatever.
I don't know.
And I don't know, but I do know that there are certain actors that are method actors that seem to genuinely experience the performance they're giving. And like, I don't know if she is, but I did feel that she was genuinely experiencing the feelings and things that were happening in that movie. I mean, because your eyes, you can't fake certain things in your eyes, like you could fake expressions, you can fake body movements, you could fake all that. I don't feel like your eyes can fake, like you have to genuinely believe it in your head.
Well, I mean, that's what acting is. But that's what acting is, right? It is fake. She's not actually in danger. She's not actually seeing this stuff happening.
Yes, but in her mind, she's feeling those. That's what I mean. There's a difference between someone that can act good or someone that like they feel like they're really experiencing the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings that you're seeing them. And like, I felt like that was one of those performances. Like, I think a lot of women seem to do that better than men, because like, if you think about, to me, like there's Joaquin Phoenix, there's a few that are, exceptional. Like Joaquin Phoenix becomes the characters that he's portraying in movies. But I feel like there's a lot more women, because like Toni Collette in Hereditary, like, actors that don't even get credit for the stuff they do.
Well, I think in horror you have a lot more female leads, and so that's why you see that probably more.
But I watch a lot of movies, not just horror. I just only talk about horror, but like if you really think about it, who are the the actors that jump to mind as ones that really seem to live in that performance? To the eyes. But there's only, that's what I mean. There's only a couple like that are really, of males that are really up there. Whereas like, I feel like you could name off women for a long time because a lot of our most famous male actors, they can't do that shit. They're like famous for different reasons. Yeah, Clint Eastwood. I don't think he could do that shit. Clint Eastwood can't act like he can't emote.
What?
Not emote? What movie did Clint Eastwood really emote? Are you kidding me?
What?
He played the same character.
Gran Torino for one.
Yeah.
All of his earlier movies.
He just plays an old man.
No, so what? It's still acting. He still has to act. He still has to.
Come on.
He's Clint Eastwood. Look.
Like Jack Nicholson's another one, like where they can act angry. They can act. Yeah, but I don't feel like they get, like Joaquin Phoenix can do what I'm talking about.
Robin Williams could do what I'm talking about. Like, to me, there's only certain, Jim Carrey can do what I'm talking about. Like, there's only certain actors that can like genuinely, like, we haven't seen we haven't seen Jim Carrey do it a lot, but when we have, like, the guy can completely in his mind become, the character that he's playing. Hang on. His name is escaping me off the top of my head, but I have to, I gotta find it.
I mean, what's his name? Like the most famous character actor.
Adam Sandler can do it.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I not to the level I'm talking about.
Dude, have you seen Uncut Gems?
Yeah, and he was also super good in that Netflix Alien or whatever it's called, the
Click.
Space. I think it's called. Is it Space?
Yeah,
the end of Click, he does a really good job, but I still don't think it's at the level I'm talking about.
Well, okay,
like he can feel sad, he can feel angry, like you could see the emotions in these characters. But like I feel like
I think I said
when you talk about like a good example, just Toni Collette in Hereditary.
Yeah, no,
like that woman genuinely went through hell in her mind.
Oh, Sean has a good one. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. What's his name? That unfortunately passed away. That did the Joker. Like he was able.
Oh
to
yeah.
do that. He's in Brokeback Mountain with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh my God. Yes, him.
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, thank you. My friggin' brain. Sometimes I just
Heath Ledger could do that. But what I'm saying is, it just feels like, I'm not saying there's not men that can do that. There obviously is, but I'm just saying I feel like there's more women. Because like there's just so many women. Maybe it's just right now, but like, I mean, the stuff we're seeing Mia Goth do, we're seeing Rebecca Hall, Rebecca Ferguson.
Like we have a Twitch. Sorry, I want to call out a Twitch.
Hey, what's up, Twitch? Is it the same guy we always have?
No, it's not the same guy. This is different. Justin, what's going on, Justin?
Thanks
for watching us on Twitch. We are slowly growing our Twitch
channel.
How
did you find us?
I know. Yes, please. How did you find us? And please share us. We're trying to grow our audience on Twitch. So you're our second Twitch viewer. So let's to
actually try and grow on Twitch, we would probably need to actually like do special things.
Yeah, no, you're right.
With Twitch, like playing games and just doing long streams, because that's what works on Twitch. You got to do like long, I know 5-hour live streams and crazy shit.
Yeah,
and you gotta be like jumping around and yelling at people, and
that's
like I could totally do that, but that's just exhausting, man.
Leo as a male actor who could do. Oh, are you serious? Come on.
I don't think he can do what I'm talking about. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is a hell of an actor, but I don't think he can do at the level I'm talking about.
Okay. All right.
Like, I'm trying to think. I mean, he's done amazing stuff. I mean, all the way back to What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Like, I'm not saying he can't act. I'm just saying I don't know if he can emote on the level I'm talking, where he genuinely, in his eyes, is going through what you're seeing.
I don't know, man. Oh, just like
that's what I mean. There's
YouTube.
only certain people that can like go into their head and actually flip a switch and believe everything on demand, like with a flip of a switch, like they are genuinely, feeling what they're saying,
Okay. I don't know. I think,
because I think there's a lot of the most famous actor men that we've ever had could not do that. And that's what's crazy, especially if you go back to like the 50s and 60s.
How do you know?
Well, I'm saying with what you're seeing, because like if you go back, what I'm talking about is, think about it. If you go back to like the 50s and 60s, you had women acting their asses off, being super emotional and all this in the movies. And the men were just all stoic and were just like Mr. Cool, and they didn't do shit. Like the acting from men was god awful in the 50s, especially in the like 40s, like from the beginning basically until like the 50s. It wasn't until the 60s and 70s that men started like stepping it up.
Well, I'm going to tell Bela Lugosi and
yeah, that's a great example. Dude didn't act. He didn't act. That's what I mean. Name one actor from back then that really acted. Like one of the best is that played the Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. He was one of the better ones.
Yes,
even him, dude.
Lon
like
Chaney
you're like,
Jr.
I could do that.
Lon Chaney Jr. is the actor, and no, you couldn't do that back in the day. Back in the day when they were making those movies and doing what Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi were doing, no, you could not.
I bet I could. Did you see my acting role, my debut acting role in the little short that my friend made?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen that.
You should pull it up and watch it and laugh at me.
Hell yeah. I'm all about that. That's why I don't go on. So I have two movies that I've been in. And I will not show them. I might show one, but
I've never really acted, and I guarantee you I can act.
Yeah, but you're not pulling Lon Chaney Jr. You're not doing that.
I bet I could outact him. I bet I could outact him, like with absolutely no experience, because it's what I'm talking about. Like some people are able to go in their minds and convince themselves of what they, like what is going on. And like, I love Lon Chaney Jr., man. Like The Wolfman is one of my all-time favorites, and he did other roles. Like, he really was a pretty good actor for the time.
But Charlie Chaplin.
Are you kidding me now?
No.
He didn't act, dude.
Yes, he does.
In what?
Hang on. Or wait, was that Charlie Chaplin who did, hang on.
I mean, he would do the facial expression stuff, but it was all, there was no talking. How can you really act when you're just doing, miming shit?
Hang on. What's,
it's not even a knock against it. It's just it wasn't what they were wanting in movies back then. It's still vaudeville way of seeing entertainment. They weren't asking them to be like super hyper real. That wasn't, you know what I mean? That wasn't what was asked of them.
The Great Dictator. Watch that movie.
Is that one that he actually talks in?
Yeah.
What year is that?
The Great Dictator, and I would say probably Limelight as well.
What years are those? What, 40s?
Yeah, 1940. The Great Dictator is 1940, and Limelight.
Oh, so he was like
1952.
He was old in those.
Yeah, so I would say do that.
I haven't seen those, so
everybody else.
I'm just thinking of Charlie Chaplin as the in the talkies where he or in the
you're thinking of
silent films where he was famous,
Right. And then the guy who played the Joker in the Adam West, his name is escaping me. Oh, come on, chat, help me out. Who played the Joker in the Adam West Batman show?
Oh yeah, he did a bunch of stuff. He's one of my favorite
Joker. Yeah, he's one of my favorite Jokers.
He's like Latino, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like Ramirez or
what is it? Hang on.
Or Romeo or something.
Cesar Romero. That's it. Cesar Romero.
Yeah. Yeah. Not like when you see that, that's a bad example because he wasn't having to do that in the Joker. But that's already the era I'm talking about. Like in the 60s,
that's like the 60s.
We started seeing that. In the 60s and 70s when we started seeing men having to, really act. But prior to that, men were not asked of that. They were asked to just kind of be the stoic, like Humphrey Bogart shit.
I don't know, man. I don't. You got to watch more older movies.
Dude, I've watched a lot. I grew up on old movies, on black and white movies. That's why a lot of people don't realize that I didn't start watching like modern and horror movies until I was like early 20s, really, because I wasn't allowed to watch anything that wasn't black and white or Disney when I was a kid.
Dude, Eartha Kitt, yes, Vorpal, Eartha Kitt. Oh my God, she was great as Catwoman, and that costume that they put her in.
Yes, the women could act back then. I'm not saying the women couldn't. That's kind of my point
either.
I feel like there's a longer history, but I feel like that's my point. Is there's a longer okay, take Marilyn Monroe for example. Like she actually had to act in a lot of her movies, whereas think about the men that she was working with in those movies. They were either comedic or being stoic, like detective kind of.
I don't know, man.
That's just what was asked of it. That's just what it was. He couldn't act. Are you kidding me? Not like what I'm talking about. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I don't know.
You guys do not know what acting is. Are you fucking joking?
I have
Humphrey
no idea.
Bogart did one fucking role in every movie he's in. Everything I've ever seen him do was the same character. And you cannot convince me that he had to become some special like place in his brain and unlock some dark, emotional whatever to do what he was doing in those movies. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I don't know what you're talking about. When you say that they're actually seeing these things, that they're unlocking some dark whatever in their head and I don't understand I don't know what that
Toni Collette.
Is. I don't know what that standard is.
Toni Collette.
Okay, fine, but you don't know if she was actually in her head. or if she was just a really good actor.
No, what I'm saying is that is acting. That is being a really good actor, is being able to unlock and feel those emotions. Like when someone says, like when someone can cry on demand, they have to go to a place. There's a thought, there's a different trigger. That's how they're able to cry on demand. Like if you watch Maxine, that scene with Mia Goth is incredible because she's acting inside of a movie acting. Like it's wild when she does that and she has to cry on demand. Like that is so impressive because you get to actually see how fast she can transition from no emotion at all to just a complete mess. And there's just not a ton of men that I feel like have that same level. Like they're able to go to that place. And especially the further back you go. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's not anybody. Like there are men that can do that shit. But I think some of the men you're talking about, like Al Pacino, dude, Al Pacino cannot do that shit. Like he's fun and entertaining, but he doesn't go to that level of emoting and
Scent of a Woman.
Oh yeah, dude. Come on.
No. You are wrong. If you are going to try to say something about Al Pacino's acting in Scent of a Woman, that he is not embodying that character, that the emotional range
He's
that he
just
plays
sad
in that entire character is exactly.
Does he cry in that?
Perfect.
Does he actually cry in that?
He doesn't have to. When he's sitting there with his family and he's sitting there during that scene, and the only thing he just sits there and he goes, "Oh boy." Like you know exactly. Of course, the man isn't going to be crying at that point, but when he just exhales,
yeah, he's pretty broken.
He exhales that. Who boy, you?
Yeah, he does.
I will start crying.
There goes your camera again.
I don't know. I don't know.
He does give at times. That's probably a bad example on my part, but I still don't think he can go to the level.
Yeah, you can walk that back if you want.
He still can't go to the levels that I'm talking.
Oh my God.
Like Joaquin Phoenix can go to those levels.
You're nuts.
No, he can. Like, I just don't feel like Robin Williams was a good pull on your part because Robin Williams
absolutely could.
His range and like what, he could like really become these characters. Heath Ledger, we named off some. I just don't feel like Al Pacino really ever had to go to that.
Citizen Sleeve brought up a good one, Orson Welles.
Yeah, Orson Welles, it's the name I was trying to remember. It's actually, there's a whole documentary about this. Orson Welles was really the first actor to show that level of realism and emotion in a movie. I'm trying to remember the name. Damn it, what's the name of the movie? It's the one that he really... Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane, yeah.
Yeah. And so he was that role in that movie was one of the first times where a male actually did what I'm talking about and showed like real emotions or felt real. And it set off this chain reaction. And so by the time you got into the 60s and 70s, that was expected. Like men had to start going to that place. Prior to that, men never had to do the things that the women actors had to. They just didn't. Like, it's not even a knock on him. It's just not what was asked of the male actors at the time. It wasn't even just in Hollywood. No, but think about it, dude. Even outside of Hollywood, men did not show emotions.
Well, no, because okay, duh.
You're too young for this conversation.
No, no.
Because like I remember. I'm old enough that I remember when the men and like even back into the 80s,
men are supposed to be stoic.
Yeah.
The societal expectations of men is that they're supposed to be stoic and not show emotions. Fine, but that
has especially when you go back to the 50s and back.
But that has nothing. That has nothing to do with.
It does. If you don't show emotion in a movie, then you obviously can't do what we're talking about.
If your character is written to be a certain way and you act it that way, that's not a knock on your acting. That's a knock on the writing of the character.
No, there's nothing wrong with their acting. They just were not taught or expected to go to the levels that you need to go to when you have to have this range of emotion. Whereas the women were expected to do that all the way back. You can watch performances. Look at Gone with the Wind, dude. Look at the females acting in that versus the males. And that's not even as good of an example because it's still fairly modern, but that's what I'm talking about, where the men never have to go to the levels of emotional performances.
You got to define the level. You can't just, what's the definition? Define the level of the standard that you're talking about. Like, define that. What is it?
Dude, Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
I mean, think about, there's a number of roles. We can just say the Joker.
Okay, so what?
All right, so the first Joker especially. This new one, not as much, but that first Joker, he has to show everything from fear and things where he's not even saying a word, but where he has to, with his eyes, show genuine fear, show genuine anger, show genuinely losing your mind, whatever the hell that emotion would be. Like,
so are you talking, all right,
there's this whole range, and you can really see in his eyes that he is fully experiencing the performance. Like, he is really that character in that moment.
Okay. So if Joaquin Phoenix
and I know
Joker,
enough actors to know what I'm talking about here, because this is part of training to be an actor. Like, these are the exercises and things that you do. You have to be able to go to these dark places, think of these certain things to become these characters. And the more you have to emote emotionally, especially without words, with just your eyes, the harder it is. And I feel like women are just more capable on average. Like, if you were to just take all women and all men and take it to average, I think the women are able to go to darker places and show more of this than the men, like on average. And that's not to say there's not amazing.
No, but it depends on the character. It depends on the character and what they're playing, because like a woman is never going to give the same performance in a movie like Saving Private Ryan that what's his name gave Tom Hanks gave in his character.
Yeah.
Right. So
dude, Castaway is a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He
so Tom
can
Hanks
do that shit. Yeah.
Okay. So are you talking about the library? Hang on. Are you talking about the library of work to watch, or are you talking about like specific movies? Because there's,
like I said, on the average, I feel like women performers in movies on average are better at this than the men on average. There's of course going to be legends in both sides. Like, you know,
I don't think it goes either way.
Dude, think about it. Think about indie movies. I am
thinking about it.
If I was wrong about this, then take your average indie movie and explain to me why there's not a lot of men that can give these crazy performances in your little tiny budget indie horror or any indie movie, right? But there's like tons of women that you've never even heard of that give like these crazy performances. Like, look at Willa Fitzgerald in fucking Strange Darling. Nobody knew who the fuck she was until we saw that movie. And like the levels she goes, holy shit. You know, I don't know. Or look at what's her name in The Substance. Like,
yes, Demi Moore is a good actor,
dude.
Demi Moore is a good actor.
No, the younger what's her name? Fucking blanking on her name right now.
I don't remember her name.
But my point is like I can literally every single indie horror movie I watch, there's like at least one female in it that just kills it. But it's like there'll be a bunch of men that are just kind of
Dominic wants to know if there's a definitive answer to this, or is it all subjective? It's all
subjective. At your movie.
What? Yes, Madison Grace gives an excellent performance, but
but all your guys are like,
no, Jazz Abramowitz is a great actor, and so is
who's Jazz? Which one?
He's Brady, the bad guy.
Are you serious?
Yes, okay, I think he gives a very good performance.
Not on the same level.
Fine.
I'm not saying he's not a decent actor, but he's not like Madison has no experience, dude. Like she's basically just a chick that decides she's going to act in this movie. And like, she's able to go to some dark places like that without even having a ton of training. But my point is I know a lot of women. I've dated a lot of women that have no acting, like schooling or training, and they can turn that shit on. Like, I just don't know what it is exactly, but I feel like on average, women seem to be able to flip that switch better than men.
I don't know, man.
And I also know this because like when I was in music, I had to flip that switch. This is also why I know I can act. Because I was in a theatrical band. Like the bands I was in, were Slipknot-ish type of thing. Like we became characters to a certain extent, and especially me. And like I had to have this persona that wasn't me. And I would always call it Kanan with the K because my legal name is spelled with a C. And so back then I would say Kanan with the K because when I was doing music, it was spelled the way everybody sees it now. And when I was off stage, I'd go back to Kanan with a C, the name that legally I'm born with, which is pronounced the same, but it just is spelled with a C. I just think K is a stronger letter, so I prefer K. But my point is I was able to literally flip a switch in my head, and I could become this character that was this close to being able to kill someone. Like super dark, fucked up place in your head to be able to go to this, and I know I've known a lot of musicians and artists and stuff that could do this. So like, I know what you got to do this. And I feel like it's harder for men for some reason. I don't even know why. I'm not
Terry wants
trying
to
to say I have the answers. I just think from my observations.
Terry wants to know if you would act as a victim or the slasher, the killer in a movie.
Whatever. I don't care. I'd do whatever. I just don't know if I even want to really act. I just know that I could if I need.
He was a tentacle in a movie.
Yeah. I told you I did a little tiny part in my friend's little Halloween, like 5-minute long.
Look, I'm coming around to Dominic. Look, I'm coming around. He says I agree with DJ. Despite what I said.
Oh shit, Dominic.
He says
now you had a fan.
Despite what I said, I really like this podcast. He says it depends on the performance. To me, Daniel Day-Lewis and Meryl Streep, both strong actors.
Daniel Day-Lewis. That was the name I was trying to think of. Yes.
Yeah.
But you're not changing what I'm saying, because I've been saying that there are plenty of men that can do this too. So I'm not saying they're not men, because Daniel Day-Lewis is a character, like he does the method acting and like he goes for it. Like he literally becomes these characters. We have a number of actors that can go to like crazy dark places and can do these amazing performances. So I'm not at all saying men can't.
I just think to see
on average, there's more women that are able to go there. Like even your B-list actresses you don't really know. Like It Paints the Sands Red, dude. What's her name? And It Paints the Sands Red. Nobody knows who the hell she is, and her performance in that movie is incredible.
All right, while you're looking her up, chat wants to see a performance by Kanan Becker. So I think next week you should have a dramatic monologue prepared.
I'm good.
They want to see it. Citizen Sleeve says
I don't
something.
Have the time. Brittany Allen. Holy
sure, she's great.
Shit. She can act.
Citizen Sleeve says it depends if we're talking about old school Hollywood studio system, because at around the same time you had French Nouvelle Vague, and before that Italian neorealist.
But you also hold on. You also had theatrical plays where men did do this. So that is exactly what I'm saying. Like he's right.
Patrick
Stewart?
Stewart?
Just Hollywood. It was just Patrick Stewart. I can't think of any roles that he did where he would like super hard. I mean, he was a great villain in The Green Room, but like I don't feel like that's a crazy level.
I mean,
like that's my point.
Star Trek Next Generation.
You serious right now?
Yes, I absolutely.
Like the levels that we see from Mia Goth and Toni Collette and Brittany Allen. Are you joking me right now?
Yes, go watch. Look, I'll give you 3 episodes from.
I love that show. I love
Gen to watch.
Show. But Patrick he never had to go to that level.
Man,
he never had to go to
when
this
he
level,
gets
dude.
when he gets.
I think he can act. I mean, he's a dude. He's actually done Broadway and shit. Like I mean, he can act. I'm not saying he can't act. I'm just saying like there's a certain rare air level of acting that I'm talking about.
There's Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Hoffman Hack. Yeah.
Steve McQueen. Are you kidding me right now?
Stop saying that.
Because you guys don't get what I'm saying, dude. You're horrible
No,
example. Steve
we do
McQueen
get what
never.
you're
Steve
just
McQueen never had to do the kind of acting I'm talking about. Like, he was cool as fuck, and he played some amazing roles. Jimmy Stewart, he's one that did do some amazing shit back in the day.
Jimmy Stewart's very good, yeah.
Yeah. Like his performance in what's it, High Noon? Where he like, dude, he's like trembling and shit. Like, dude, he acted his ass off in that. Like, there were actors that did, but I'm just saying it was much more rare before the 60s.
Terry's saying it's a social construction of gender roles. I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Thank you.
Yes, but I'm not arguing that. That obviously has something to do with it, but it's also.
But I think it's partly
acting.
to do with like practice in a way.
Acting. That's what we're talking about. And
but I think it's like
you're saying that you think there's more women who can act better.
No,
who can
no.
assume a character role better than a man can.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
All right,
I'm saying can go to this extreme level. Like, do these extreme performances, like where you see it in the eyes. Like, that's why I keep saying, are you kidding me? Because you're talking about performances that are good, they're fun, they're entertaining, but they're not. It's like saying Henry Winkler. Like, dude, just because he's a fun actor and we love him and he had great roles and played great characters doesn't mean. And I think Henry Winkler has done a couple roles where he's like, but still, I'm talking about these rare air actors like that can go to these like extreme places where you really like think about Rebecca Ferguson's role in Dr. Sleep. Like, the range and the different places she has to go. Like, I'm telling you, she had to convince herself in her mind that she was a fucking evil villain that literally would steal the essence out of a little boy. But
okay,
there's just not as many actors on the male side, I think, that can go to that level. As many. Not saying there's not, because there is.
And
We've already
there are. I
think
there are just as many.
But then why, when you're talking about your like the B-rated movies, then why do the majority of the men just suck compared to the women?
I disagree.
You don't watch as many Andy as that. You do not watch nearly as many Andy movies as I do. I'm telling you. Like, if you think about, like, just pick a a bottom of the barrel, low budget that doesn't have money to pay actors kind of movie, and the women are always superior to the men, always.
So Justin has a comment. I think is good. It says, Justin says, I think it boils down to women's faces being able to express more emotions than some men most of the time. Like, once a man grows out a beard, they're used to more straight face type roles.
It's part of it, but what I'm also talking about is in the eyes. Like, there's a difference between an actor putting on a performance and an actor genuinely believing they are this character. Like, they are genuinely experiencing this pain, this tragedy, this horrific thing. They're terrified. Like, there's a reason why we have more final girls. There's a reason why that became a thing. Think about it. Women sell being terrified way better than men.
Well, yeah, but it's more. Fact. It's but okay, but the trope of the trope of the final girl.
I'm not gonna draw my mic, but drive Mark.
Wait, the trope of the final girl became popular in horror because not just because they're good actors. Obviously, that has something to do with it. But the trope of the final girl became popular because already women, when we're watching a movie or we're looking at a man and a woman, we just, as humans, already assume innocence in a woman over a man. That's why we have societal constructs like women and children first. When it comes to emergency situations, men go off to war first. Men do all of these things that are more dangerous first. It's because that's the hierarchy that we placed. Women over men when it comes to stuff like that. So the reason why the final girl trope,
not so much now, but yeah, all that's
maybe
valid,
not.
all that's
I think
true,
it still is.
That's
but the reason
beside what I'm talking about, because the reason the final girl became a thing is because it was cinema. It was interesting. It was fun to watch.
Right, but we're also rooting.
Like, if it didn't work, it wouldn't be done over and over and over and over.
Right.
Why have final men never taken off? I feel like it's much more
because it works.
Okay, if I'm wrong, then use as an example the first Friday the 13th movie. The men are god awful acting in that, and yet all the women give actually pretty good performances, even though none of them are anybody like recognizable. Like almost none of them have gone on to do anything. And yet in that movie, the women, even Kevin Bacon can't act. That's part 2, right? Anyway, even Kevin Bacon at the time couldn't act compared to the women that he was next to that are also nobodies and like very little training. And you know what I mean? Like there's just something about it. The women are able to express emotion and deeper feelings easier, like with a flip of a switch than men. And like, I don't know why you're arguing with this because there's so many examples of this.
Because the reason why
like the point we should be is why. The question we should be asking not is that true? Because it is. It's a fact.
No, it's not a fact. It's not true because we're talking about
so many examples.
We're talking, and there's so many examples of men doing the same thing, of skilled actors, of men who are good actors that can do the same thing as women who are good actors.
Ones. Good ones. Not the like I said, Friday the 13th. Explain that to me then. Explain that to me.
If we go through best acting awards, do you think it goes to more women or more men?
Well, there's always separate categories.
Okay, fine. But even then, before that, before we had a separate category, if we were to go through and we were to just do best acting, and honestly, I'm happy you brought that up because I've always despised separating the genders when it came to acting. I think that that's bad. I don't think that you should have a best actor, best actress, which is incorrect, by the way. Actress is not a word.
I honestly
you should not separate.
I honestly think if we didn't have separate categories, there's a reason why we have it, in my opinion, because women would win it every single time.
Oh,
like if you think about the best movies,
I think it would be split.
Year.
I think it would be split.
Okay, what was your best movie of 2023?
I don't remember. I have to go back and look. I don't remember.
You don't watch enough movies. You do not watch enough movies.
Yes, I did. Okay, stop. That's not an argument. You can lob that. You can lob that accusation all day. It's not an argument. It's not a point scored for you. If anything, it's a point scored for me because I.
Okay. Did you watch Godzilla -1?
Yes.
Who was the best actor in that movie?
I think it was. I think it was the male lead. I don't know what his name is.
He was the main character you saw on camera the most.
Yeah, I think he was the best. I got a Munetaka Aoki. Sorry, I can't pronounce Japanese names. Sorry, but I think.
Yeah, that's a bad example because there really isn't. I mean, he's the main character. He's on the screen the most. There's nobody else that's in it that much and the men in general are on screen way more than any of the women. The old lady does a pretty good job. So does the other girl, but they're barely on screen. I'm trying to think what's a movie that's like an Academy Award winning movie. Cause like Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it's primarily women. So that it's not fair to say it. I'm trying to think of what's the one where there's both men and women that
give really good performances.
Okay. Titanic.
Leo.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
No way, dude. What's her name completely sells that movie. Like, think about the emotions and all the things that she does in that movie compared to him. Like, Leo can act, dude, but of all of his movies, he really doesn't do much in that movie. Like, as far as
I have a better,
think about it. That's a better example too, because
I have a better example.
I
got a better example for you. All right. And we can have a conversation about this. Silence of the Lambs, Jodie Foster or
it's Jodie Foster easily, man.
Why? This is one of my Anthony Hopkins. One of my favorite actors. I couldn't remember his name. So
are thinking about
a better example of an argument.
You're thinking about a different element of acting than what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like, I think that's the problem we're having here. But I think that's the problem we're having here. You're thinking I'm saying acting like as a whole, playing a character. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being able to go to this other level.
About showing emotion. That's true.
Anthony Hopkins doesn't show anything in that movie. Like he plays this crazy character, but he isn't
pretty fucking good.
He's pretty one note. Like he becomes that character and he's amazing in it, right? But as far as like being able to go to this like these emotional things, he doesn't have to go to the emotional levels that Jodie Foster does in that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
like that to me is still not a fair example. Because she's the one that has to go to the emotional places in that movie. He just simply plays a character. You know, like they're both playing characters, but he doesn't have to do the emoting emotions stuff like she does.
Okay, all right. Well, then what about that one divorce?
Plus, Jodie Foster, that's not even fair. She's like one of the greatest actors, man or woman, ever.
I would agree with that. What's that divorce movie with Adam Driver and what is that? Scarlett Johansson? Is that?
Yeah.
Have you seen
and
that
it's
one?
Definitely Scarlett Johansson. Like he does really good, dude. But I think Scarlett Johansson's
Marriage Story.
Yeah,
they both have to give very emotional, dramatic.
This is just not a fair way of doing it because I'm not talking about that. There's not men that can do it as well. Like we've already agreed that men can go to these places. Like there's lots of men that are amazing actors and can take it to this level and all that too. I'm talking about like women in general, even from day one, are able to go to these places much faster and easier, I think, than men, and are able to really dredge up these emotions and stuff much easier than men. And I don't know exactly what that's from. A lot of it is probably like what one of the comments was talking about with, you know, like it's kind of like evolution, you know what I mean? Like men have always had to be more stoic and, you know what I mean? And not be in touch with our emotions on the same level. So starting from, you know, ground zero, your average Joe doesn't have it in his mechanics as easily, I think, as women do.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Tyler is saying some people refuse to give women credit for anything. I don't know who's doing that in this podcast, so I don't know what this comment's referencing.
Yeah, because DJ's not saying women don't do it. He simply just doesn't think women do it more. He thinks it's equal.
Yeah,
right? You're saying it's more equal.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think it's more equal.
And I think if we're talking about quality of actors, it's equal. I'm not saying that women are better actors than men. I'm saying that when it comes to this, women seem to like a lot of these. I mean, think about it, especially in horror, man.
When it comes to like drawing up emotions.
Yeah. Like, I mean, part of it is in horror because we don't ever have our men do that. And I think it's something that should happen more. I mean, you know, I think we need to have stronger male rules. I can't say that word right now in horror. It's something that nobody ever talks about because we all love that women are finally getting credit and getting roles and all that. But I don't feel like we're asking the men to play these strong roles in our horror movies. Like, and I'm not saying, and like, you know, we do have men playing the machine gun holding, you know, commando predator shit, right? We do have men playing badasses. I'm talking about strong as in like emotional, because like Hereditary is a perfect example, right? You had, what's his name? Who's an amazing actor. I forget his name, but playing the husband, and he barely does anything in that movie. Like he's kind of sidelined. And like we need more of, I think it flipped where we have some male roles that are getting to do things like Toni Collette does in that.
Yes, well, I would agree with that. But it's 8:00. We filled our time with that, which was a very good discussion. And thank you, chat, for participating in the discussion as well. I think a lot of
let's go to the chat for a little bit, like
sure.
A few minutes, and just kind of so we can.
Well, it's all about everything that we've been talking about. I'll scroll up a little.
I know,
bit.
But people just point out a couple.
Revolutionary Road, Westworld, Without the Farmer's Daughter.
What about Westworld?
Crap. Yeah, he said same with Westworld. Without the Farmer's Daughter would be pretty crap.
Yeah, I love Westworld, but yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, I could show you examples forever because it's like every movie, every show, the women are the ones that are having to go to these places. And I just think it's because more women are able to do this. Not that men can't, but I think more are able to. Otherwise, I can't explain it. Why is it the case then that women are the ones that always do these roles and all these things?
Wait, what roles and what things?
Like in so many movies and TV series and stuff, it's always the women that have to go to these, like, you know, we have way less men having these roles in anything, not just horror, but in movies in general. There's way less stuff that like say Joaquin Phoenix roles. There's way less of those for men than there are women. Because it's like, I mean, like a show like Westworld or Grotesquerie or like so many shows and movies, it's always the women that have these like emotional, powerful, like type of performances. And, you know, it's like you're saying, you know, you can only do what you're given. Like if you're not asked to do this in a movie, you're not going to do it. But why is it that men are not given that opportunity as much? And it's also part of the question.
I think it boils down to what we've been sort of agreeing on anyway, is that, and what Citizen is saying here is that he says, I think it's pretty simple. Traditional societal norms, along with most folks' upbringings, have always placed more focus on men keeping their emotions in check. Women is very different. I just think of the way women speak to their friends for the most part compared to men. Yeah.
That's why a movie like Battery. Have you ever seen Battery?
No.
That's why a movie like Battery, it's a little indie movie. A movie like that is so cool because
2012.
It's two men. It's like the movie is like 90% just these two guys. And they're not boyfriends or anything like that. They're just regular old dudes, but they're in this apocalyptic world and they're just trying to survive together in this little car. And they got to give like a real range of emotions in this. And it's really cool because it's just, you know, just these two guys showing fear and sadness and anger and, you know,
zombie.
So it's movie. Like it's a zombie movie, but it's really cool it's on Tubi right now.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
I believe that's where I just saw it.
Dominic has come all the way around. I love watching both you guys. Keep it up.
I thought he was going to be like, I like DJ. Fuck Kanan.
No. He hasn't done a 180. He has done a 180. That's about it. Mr. Wonderful says Aliens 2. I give the best actor not to Ripley. Give it to the Marine. We're all going to die, man. Hicks and Bishop.
No way.
Vorpal says John
Come
Wayne.
on. Are you kidding me right now? Like literally that movie is Ripley's movie. Like her whole thing with Newt. Are you kidding me right now?
Oh, this is a good one.
Stay away from her, you bitch. Like, dude. Sigourney Weaver kills it in that movie.
She does. Sigourney Weaver is, she knocks
There's no one else that's close in that.
Yeah, she's great.
Nobody else is asked to do that though, and that's also what I'm talking about. It's like,
right.
And it's not like anybody else in that movie is asked to be able to do the things that she does in that.
Right. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks everybody for giving us a watch. Please subscribe to the Death Rattle podcast. Please do that. I'm gonna post the link in the Ghost Pirate chat again. Please subscribe and watch us over there. We're really trying to build that podcast. We're not actually affiliated with the Ghost Pirate Entertainment channel. We're just we're trying to leech you guys. Or sorry, we're not hosted on the Ghost Pirate Entertainment channel.
No, we are hosted. We're not.
All right, you say it.
By we're just hosting it at the moment.
I'm
Ghost
trying.
Pirate is just hosting it to help it grow. But eventually we'll say this probably for the next 10 years, but eventually we will go over to just the Death Rattle podcast.
Right. When it's monetized. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys.
We do also want to start an audio version.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that
soon as well. So
hi, Will. You're seeing us as we're getting out of here, so you're gonna have to watch the replay. But thanks. Yeah,
lots of yelling and me jumping around in my seat. So definitely rewind it.
It's gonna be a fun episode. So yeah, and let us know in the comments also what you think. Keep it going. We like talking to you guys. We like reading the comments and responding to it. So thanks everybody for watching us. Hi to all the latecomers coming in, Mr. Jim. Sorry you missed it. It's okay. It's gonna re-upload. Make sure you guys are on time next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and everywhere in between. This is the Death Rattle Podcast.
Podcast.
Later.